Well, good afternoon, everyone. Yes, it gives me a great pleasure to introduce to you our guest speaker for today's program, Mr. Jack Sisk. Jack is the president of the Interfaith Partnership of Greater St. Louis, which was established in 1985, and it includes the representatives of more than 30 different religions and denominations. The Interfaith Partnership's goal is to deepen understanding, respect, appreciation among all persons across lines of different religion and their beliefs. Jack is also the founder and the director of the Living Insight Center, which is a universal religious and a spiritual center located in Clayton, Missouri. The center honors and nurtures the beliefs of everyone, and it too promotes understanding and appreciation of all different world religions. The Living Insight Center is believed to be the closest thing in my mind to a museum of world religions in the Western Hemisphere, and spiritually an uplifting gathering place for everyone of all different religions. And if you're interested to visit this place not too far away from here, please connect with our guest speaker, Jack. Before Jack devoting himself to the spiritual matters, he graduated from Yale University, was a member of a United States Senator's staff, then was a corporate healthcare attorney for 23 years, including serving as a general counsel for Barnes Hospital and playing an instrumental role in the creation of the so-called the BJC healthcare system. So on that brief note of introduction, so let's welcome our guest speaker, Mr. Jack Sisk, to the podium.
It's a hard act to follow the barber celebration and the invigorating speaker. You did a really wonderful job. This won't be nearly as interesting, I suspect. I'll do my best. Why does interfaith matter? Interfaith work? You know, I think all have read articles indicating that religion, organized religion, is at least on the decline in the United States. People are leaving the religions, but it doesn't mean they're not being spiritual. You know, people in general all around the world still are struggling with or grappling with the fundamental questions. You know, why does the universe exist? Why do we exist? What created it? What's our purpose in life? What happens after we die? And those questions are daunting. And many people still take great comfort in knowing that the religions offer us answers to those questions. And we're a very diverse species, and the world is very diverse. You know, we're diverse within our country, but, you know, the third largest religion in the world is Hinduism, and yet we only have about 18,000 Hindus in this community. And each of the religions offers different answers to these questions, and people naturally gravitate to the one that resonates with them. And they want to believe that their religion offers them the right answers. But, you know, we have a much better world if we respect and cooperate with the people in other religions, people who have made other choices. And it's humility suggests that we really need to not assume that we are the only ones who have it figured out, and to recognize that other religions' answers might just be as true as ours. If God is infinite, can we really be sure that we understand what God has set us up to deal with and what our goals should be in life and all these kinds of things? So it's important that we work together. Many things divide us, of course, in these days. And the religions offer us a good solution to at least part of that. All the religions have in common something like the golden rule. They all tell us we should treat people the way we want to be treated. Every year, the International Institute in St. Louis has the Festival of Nations, and the Interfaith Partnership, we've had a tent for 12 years in a row. And the thing which draws the most attention is a poster which shows all the different religions' versions of the golden rule. And all the religions tell us that we should recognize that all of God's creation is sacred, and we should treat it that way. So interfaith work, it's kind of a small group that is participating in this, but I think we all do better if we recognize the importance of it and allow it to be part of our lives. So as TK has indicated, I'm the president of two organizations, and they operate in two different levels. The Interfaith Partnership operates on a community level. As you've heard, we have something like 35 denominations and religions represented. We have various sects of Buddhism, Hinduism, and so forth, as well as a Sisk. It's pronounced Sick, not Sikh, I learned. And we, come together to come to common understandings on enabling us to make statements of general interest to the community on common issues. But as one of our leaders once said, and I thought that this has really stuck with me, the best way to learn about other faiths and cooperate with other faiths is to have dinner with them. And so we try to establish connections which become connections of friendship. And we have programs, and during the pandemic, largely those became Zoom programs, and we're still doing those. And we have a annual Thanksgiving event, and we participate, as I said, at the Festival of Nations. And then we have a cabinet, which is religious leaders, and they come together again to develop statements that can be issued on behalf of all the religions. And that's frankly hard for them to do sometimes. We used to require unanimous votes on statements, and consequently, there were years where we didn't have any statements. But now we've worked it out, and we try to avoid issues where there are just going to be divisions, as there are obviously going to be among faiths. But a lot of good comes out of this. And there is I guess you could say, brother-sister organization here on your side of the river. There's the Metro East Interfaith Partnership. It's headed by a woman who is in it was part of the Church of Latter-day Saints, the Mormons, but it broke off when they had a split in the 1800s. And it's, I think, a relatively small group, but it's fairly active. And in addition, there's a Carbondale Interfaith Council. And one of the leaders of that, people associated with it, at least, is a Father Flannery, who is a pastor down in Carbondale, but that's part of the Belleville Archdiocese. Also, you might know, the Parliament of the World's Religions is being held in Chicago in August. Father Flannery is on the board of that, and so I'm going to be one of the speakers on a panel. But the important thing about the Parliament is the Parliament of the World's Religions started in 1893. First time people from all around the world, from all religions, came together, and they didn't have another one until 1993. And since then, it's been roughly every 4 years. The one in 1993 was in Chicago. The one this year is in Chicago as well. And this draws something like 7,000 to 10,000 people from all around the world. And it's a life-changing experience. If it's of any interest to you, I think you can still register, but getting hotel rooms probably out of the question. The Living Insight Center, I founded in 2001. I'd been an attorney at BJC for a number of years. And in 1995, my mom was told she'd be dead in 6 months with lung cancer. And I received a calling to create what would have been the first hospice house in St. Louis, or in this whole region. And I worked on it in BJC for 5 years, and they wouldn't pay for it. My mom lasted that long, left me some money, and I decided to leave the law and start the Living Insight Center. That was the last time I have been paid. I've been doing this for 23 years, just as on a volunteer basis. And I recognized by the time I started Living Insights, it wasn't going to be just about helping people die. But one thing that hadn't changed was that I was still in a lawyer's brain. I still thought like a lawyer, and lawyers basically manipulate information. So it's head stuff. It's not hard stuff. Yeah. So I created a lawyer spiritual place, meaning we set out to be a museum of the world's religions. And I guess humans don't put a lot of importance on that. There are only two other museums of the world's religions anywhere in the world. One is in Scotland and one is in Taiwan. And the one in Scotland looks pretty boring. The one in Taiwan is really awesome, but good luck getting there. And then for the Americas, apparently you have Living Insights, and that's about it. And it's kind of sad that something small done with an inheritance is what we've got, but we're very proud of the display we've put together. This displays represent the face in very authentic, very significant ways. As just one example, we have a Quran, that's the sacred book in Islam, that's from 1873 that I bought from a professor in Bahrain. And a few months ago, I went on a tour of the St. Louis Art Museum, a religious tour, and the docent said, boy, one of the things I really wish we had in this collection at the Art Museum is an ancient Quran that's hand calligraphy like ours. So I could go to him and say, we've got one. Would you like to come see it? So we've put together a pretty significant collection, and the collection includes some remarkable things for pretty much all religions. Just as an example, if you're Roman Catholic, you probably know, pretty sure you know who Saint Therese, the little flower, was. Catholics consider her the greatest saint of modern times because people receive miracles when they pray with her a lot. She died when she was only 24 in the late 1890s, and people started receiving miracles when they prayed with her so rapidly that they named her a saint in pretty much record time. And she's a doctor of the church, highest rank of sainthood. There's only 5 or 6 women in that group of a couple of hundred. Well, I had never heard of her when I started the center, but we were donated a statue of her. And I, like pretty much all people, I suspect, thought that mystical experiences were either completely imaginary or if they happened, they were only for really, really significant people who lived thousands of years ago that God chose. Well, I tell you with ultimate sincerity, coming from a lawyer with my background, I am absolutely positive she's there. We've had like 1,000 miracles, 50 couples that thought they couldn't have children, have had children after praying there. We've had cancers literally disappear, astounding the doctors, and things like this. So we've tried to gather things of this quality for all of the faiths. So the center operates on 3 levels. There's the mind part, which is the information, and there is the mystical part, which I've just described. So that's kind of the mind and the heart. And the middle part is the body part, I guess, which is that the interfaith partnership, while it brings people together for meetings, it's not a place where you can just come together and on any day know that you might meet people from other religions. Our board and our faculty, we have classes at the Living Insights Center, includes people from many faiths. I'm a Hindu. I've been a Hindu since I was 14 after being raised a Presbyterian. And I'm the Hindu teacher, but we have a Buddhist teacher. We have a Sufi master, that's the mystical branch of Islam. We have a Kabbalah teacher, mystical branch of Judaism. We had a Catholic Dominican sister on our board for a decade. We had the leading Native American in the region till she passed away. A Catholic world religion professor from St. Louis University, a Mormon, Baptist minister, and so forth. And all these people either have or do or will be offering classes at the center. So you could come and find yourself, having deep thoughts or conversations or just very casual conversations with people who are coming from a very different spiritual background. So I was told to end like by now and give you about 5 minutes for questions. I've just given you the brief introduction to these 2 organizations, but I'll be happy to answer any questions if you have any. Yes.
So, is your place still a hospice?
No, it was never a hospice. That was my original vision, but first of all, I didn't have the money for a hospice. And secondly, I realized I didn't have to wait till people were dying to be helpful. I'm very happy to say that 17 years after I left BJC and never went back in any professional capacity other as a consultant on their hospice project, they finally opened their hospice house and they had me do the invocation. And I'm pretty sure I was the only Hindu there. And my prayer was not a Hindu prayer, of course, but I'm very happy that they developed a hospice house, but that takes millions of dollars. And I had like $100,000 to start Living Insights. So yeah, the original vision was for a hospice, but Living Insights is for people in any state of health or stage of life.
Where are you located?
If you know where the big Amico sign is, 3/4 of a block past the Amico sign on the right side of the street. We were hit by an arson fire 3.5 years ago. We had taken care of a homeless man and he was mentally ill and literally burned us down. And we renovated the main building, but we still have an addition. I have a very bad contractor and Clayton's permitting process is really abysmal. I saw a nodding head over here. So we're still trying to get the addition and the rear garden done, but you can come see the center. It's open by appointment. Now that I took office as the president of the Interfaith Partnership in January, and an hour before I did, the executive director resigned, informing us that the finances were not what we understood them to be. And so now we're going without a staff, and that means I'm the president and staff for both organizations. So I'm very busy. I'm making it work. We have a very committed board. The Interfaith Partnership has rebounded amazingly. We have increased our financial position significantly in just these few months since then, through a lot of hard work. So anyway, the Living Insight Center is open by appointment. And because of the financial situation with the Interfaith Partnership, the Living Insights building is now the office of the Interfaith Partnership as well. So it doesn't really have anything except me and, but I can certainly talk more about either one if you ever want to visit. The best way to reach me is by email. livinginsights.com is the website, and our email address is on there. I think you had a question in front here. You did, okay. Oh, okay. Any other questions? Okay, well, thank you very much. I appreciate it.